Hey everyone. Really awesome to be back at Slush. I was so excited when they invited me back. I was here holding a presentation last year that I don't consider to be my best presentation so far. And I thought that would be my last time being invited here, but I'm glad to be here again. My name is Carl. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Tictail, sometimes called the Tumblr for e-commerce. We're an e-commerce platform based out of Sweden. We now have offices in Stockholm and in New York. Launched our company about 3.5 years ago. Today, I wanted to talk about some of our product strategy and some of the thoughts that have gone into creating this company and this platform. And I actually wanted to sort of base my speech, my presentation, on a blog post. And it's not even written by me, it's written by someone else, a much smarter person, a guy called Chris Dixon. Some of you, or maybe even most of you, might have already read this blog post. It's a short, but very much on point. It's called Come for the Tool, Stay for the Network. And it's a blog post outlining a strategy that's becoming increasingly popular among startups these days, where you start by building a product that provides tons of value. That's a really amazing experience in a single player mode. It provides value for you, even when there's just one user on the platform. But then over time, as this tool generates more and more users, you start adding on network effects on top of that tool to make it even more valuable to your users. The best example of this product strategy is probably a company called Instagram. When Instagram started, there weren't millions of users on the platform. They weren't on Facebook's radar. When Instagram launched, they were a photo editor. They were a free editor that helped you create cool filters on your photos. And then you could publish those photos to Facebook, to Twitter, to Tumblr, where most of your eyeballs would be received. However, over time, you started publishing these photos to the Instagram stream as well. And all of a sudden, that started to become an increasingly big part of the platform. And after a while, it started becoming the most valuable aspect of their business, of their platform. In fact, it started to become the place where most people would spend their time in Instagram. Now, Tictail, an e-commerce company, a completely different industry, completely different category, our product strategy is not all that different. When we started our company, May 2012, 3.5 years ago, we very much started as a tool to make it easier than ever before for a new generation of entrepreneurs, for micro businesses, to create a beautiful online store in a few minutes from your desktop or from your phone. And in fact, I still think we are the only platform that lets a micro business create a feature-complete online store on the go. We wanted to differentiate not just by letting you start a store, the takeoff, but really focus on what happens next. Not just looking at the takeoff, but the journey of an online business. We're entering an incredibly competitive market. There's thousands of e-commerce platforms out there, all offering more or less the same features at the same price. They help businesses to get started. Well, on Tictail, we help businesses to get going. We came up with a unique interface we call the Tictail feed. What the feed does is basically looks at all of the data that goes into each and every store on the platform to convert that data to create tailored, specific, personal advice for every store on the platform. Simple things like, hey, you haven't tweeted in 5 days, here's a few things you could write about, to more complex tasks like saying, these are 40 customers that haven't purchased anything in the past 2 months. Send them an email, try to re-engage them. Or last week you had 100 visitors coming into your store that didn't buy something. Create a retargeting campaign. As we rolled out this platform, as we launched this company, we started with just one store on the platform. Tictail started with my mom's business. She's an artist. She's been an artist my entire life. It's one of those things that when you're a kid, you're somewhat ashamed of it. It feels weird and funny. And then when you get older, it's something you're increasingly proud over. She was the first store on the platform. And in the 3.5 years we've been around, we've grown from that one business to be the home to more than 100,000 brands from all over the world. Today we have stores in 140 countries. Now, how have we grown the platform from this one brand to all of these different stores from all over the world? Well, that's really where the community aspects of Tictail starts coming into the picture. That's really where we stop being just a tool and become more of a community, a network. Because if you look at stores on the platform, regardless what type of products they sell, which theme they have for their store, there's a certain consistency to being on Tictail. You don't just have an online store, you run a Tictail. And if you look in the top right corner, you can either follow that store to get updates when they release new products or discounts. It's also a way for you to start engaging with the rest of the community on the platform. Or you can start your own store. Now, I don't think we quite realized how important this would be when we first launched the business. But as it turns out, this is a huge, huge driver of growth. Our growth could be more or less summarized in this very, very simple slide. When traffic comes to stores, there's basically three things they can do. They can follow that store and get updates when they release products or discounts. They can place an order in that store, or they can start their own store. They can connect with Tictail and become a merchant themselves. And as it turns out, 0.12% or 12 basis points of all traffic go on to start their own business on Tictail. Now, 12 basis points doesn't amount to much when you have one store on the platform, when you have one brand, a brand like, say, by Mutti, my mom's business. But with 100,000 brands and millions of unique visitors every month, this quickly adds up. And it creates this really interesting flywheel effect where more stores are generating more traffic, that's generating more followers, more orders, more stores, that's generating more traffic. And it creates this circular compounding effect where the faster we grow, our growth accelerates. And for this reason, our most important metric, the sales from the stores on our platform, GTV, grew quickly in 2012, the year we launched, quickly again in 2013, quickly again in 2014, and we'll see where 2015 ends, but we're feeling quite hopeful. Now, thinking about the next steps for our business and how we think that Tictail is going to evolve over time, we really want to double down and focus even more on these sort of network aspects of the company. Because we believe that sort of transitioning from a tool to a network provides more value to our users and makes Tictail a more valuable business. So when we looked at our store base, we learned two things. One, the vast majority of our sellers are concentrated in a few categories: fashion, home, jewelry, and art. Mainly because all of our growth has been organic. It's been spreading from friends to friends within the same circles. The second thing we realized is that most of our sellers, they're first-time sellers. And what's interesting about that is that it tells us a story. It tells us one thing, that their inventory, the products that they sell, they only live on Tictail. You can't find these products, you can't find these small brands anywhere else online today. And we looked at our content, we looked at all of these products. I buy these products every month, every week. And there were so many amazing stories here, so many cool brands that could be discovered on the platform. So about a year ago, we decided, if our mission is to empower small businesses to help them become successful, then what better way for us to do this, to accomplish this mission, than to connect them directly with customers from all over the world. And we started working on the Tictail marketplace. So now, when you launch a store on Tictail, you have your own storefront, your own domain, your own place on the web. But your products and your story will also be marketed in the Tictail marketplace, a consumer-facing destination, a place where people like us can go to discover brands that are yet to be discovered. The marketplace is, of course, available on the web, but also on mobile, where most of our development is happening. One remarkable statistic from Tictail is that 55% of all of our orders across all of our stores are already coming from the mobile phone. So when we talk about sort of like the shift to mobile and how you have to think about it, it's not that the world is shifting to mobile, the world is already mobile. That's the biggest platform for us to really keep a close eye on. In the Tictail marketplace, you can discover brands from all over the world. It's a local experience where you shop in your own currency. You only find stores that ship to your location. You can follow your favorite brands, like your favorite products, to get a more personal experience, a marketplace that's catered specifically to your taste. And you can build up your profile or follow your friends or influencers to get a truly curated shopping experience. Now, marketplaces are interesting in a lot of ways, and network effects are interesting in a lot of ways. But what's interesting is that when you're able to sort of establish a truly successful marketplace, is that supply and demand, they follow each other. The greater the supply, the more attractive the destination becomes for consumers, and the more consumers, of course, will be more attractive for brands. The difficulty in establishing a successful marketplace is the chicken and egg problem. And you can solve this by thinking about your company first as a tool that then later transitions into becoming a network. As we now sort of like double down on the future, on this future sort of initiatives, we have the consumer in mind, because ultimately, on a mission to empower small businesses, to help them become successful, the best way for us to reach that goal will be to connect them with customers. Thank you so much. That's all.